What's going on, guys? Good morning. Welcome back to United View. Welcome back to another edition of Matchday Reloaded here live as it can get in you know where. It's Panenka Studios. We're back for another edition of Matchday Reloaded. Yes, Manchester United 3, West Ham United 1. We're through to the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. The games continue to come thick and fast in every single competition. It's not just the Carabao Cup. It's not just the Premier League. It's not just the Europa League. It's also the FA Cup as well. The domestic cup competitions. We've already won one. Can we win two this season? Well, we're well on our way after a difficult one last night. A game that for 75 odd minutes, it didn't feel like it was going to be our night, did it? It felt like, is this going to be the time when not the wheels fall off, but things just start to sort of catch up to us? That's what it kind of felt like, didn't it? That we've had so many games recently and so many, not just games in general, but big games. We've had some really important games and big atmospheres and big moments. There felt like there was going to be this inevitable come down. And was that going to be last night? No, well, for a while, it certainly felt like it, but this is the difference, isn't it? I spoke to Kenny, and we're going to get some reactions from everyone. As always, we're going to get reactions from the likes of Flex, KG, Marcel, Kenny, DJ, Haley, and more. And when I was talking to Kenny yesterday, we were just saying it's just classic United, isn't it? That's what it is. This was a game, and I'm so hesitant to always compare Erik Ten Hag to Sir Alex Ferguson or anything like that. But it did feel like a game that was kind of classic United, and it felt like it was almost in keeping in the Sir Alex Ferguson era, because for the majority of the game, didn't play particularly well, looked quite slow, looked quite lethargic, looked tired, and then the manager makes the changes, and even after the changes were made, it was kind of a case of, it still took a while to get going, but the opposition knew, and this is the key thing, the opposition knew they're going to get a chance. They're going to get a chance, and they're going to score a goal. They're going to do something. They're attacking the Stretford end in the second half. They're in good form. They believe. That's the key thing. This team, this squad of players believes. Now, I think one of the key sort of learning points from last night might have also been that when you don't have this sort of new nucleus of players, when you don't have this new core of players, i.e. Casemiro, Rafael Varane, Lisandro Martinez, Luke Shaw, Marcus Rashford, you know, those sort of five that you would say this season have been absolutely fantastic, absolutely standout. When they're not playing, obviously, and I suppose not surprisingly, but obviously, the performance level goes from here to about here, because particularly in that first half, oh my goodness me, not great. Not great, and some of those players definitely should not be starters for Manchester United, but they're not, and that's the key thing, is that most of the time they're not as well. And Erik Ten Hag, the manager, once again, he has been praised recently for the changes that he has been making in game, and it was one of the things actually when we spoke to Ajax the other day when he was on the Full View. Be sure to check it out. It was a fantastic show. We showed all of those clips of them saying things that turned out to become true and turned out to be accurate about, you know, players that you didn't think you could get stuff out of, you get stuff out of. Sabi talking about Weghorst, talking about a winning mentality and all that kind of stuff. And one of the things they said, which was almost a negative about Ten Hag that he needed to improve, was his in-game substitutions. Sometimes he takes too long. And we had seen that earlier on the season. We had seen Ten Hag take a little bit too long for substitutions. And my theory was, as I've said a million times, was that he turns to the bench and goes, I'm not really seeing all that much that can change the game. That's completely different now. We've seen a completely different side of Erik Ten Hag. I mean, last night he was really quick to make the subs, really quick to react. Half-time, it ain't working. Bring on Casemiro for McTominay. And again, immediately, in terms of an immediate impact, it wasn't really, you know, straight away there. But the moment that West Ham go 1-0 up, okay, let's bring some more subs on. Martinez, you're on for Lindelof. Rashford, you're on for Anthony. Let's go win this game. We've had enough playing around. I gave some of you guys a chance. Wasn't working out. And that's not to say that individuals that didn't start the game didn't play well, because I thought Weghorst played really well. And we will go into individuals as the show goes on. But I thought Weghorst did well. But I think the person that it is going to take a lot of the plaudits, he got the player of the match, was Alejandro Garnacho, of course, last night because of his goal. And I remember, I forget which Match Day Reloaded it was, but I kind of went on a bit of a rant. Shocker, I know. But I went on a bit of a rant because the discussion surrounding Alejandro Garnacho, frankly, has been bizarre over the last couple of months. Take a step back, look at things in totality. When you talk about Alejandro Garnacho, this is his first, it's not even full season, right? Because he came into the first team sort of a couple of months in. Yes, he was on tour with United in the summer, but he didn't play because of the attitude stuff, whatever. It's in the past. But he only really started to really get involved in the first team action, i.e. playing proper minutes, which was, maybe October time, November, just before the World Cup. So it's not even going to be his first full season. He's not a starter at this point. Yes, he started last night, but he's not a bona fide every single game he has to start. He's 18. He's still technically on a smaller contract, which he's provisionally agreed to, new terms. It's just licensing stuff and image rights things. But he's 18, and some of the criticism for him recently, if he had what some people perceive to be a bad game, is absolutely baffling, to the point where you almost think that the people that are saying it, they themselves don't actually believe it, honestly. Because you cannot think like that. You cannot be rational and think like that. This is a guy, this is a kid. This is a kid who's 18, and look at what he's done this season. Look at some of the things he's done. He won a game in Spain, an away European game against Real Sociedad. He won in the last minute a Premier League game away from home against Fulham, who he happened to be playing in the next round. He came on in the Manchester derby and assisted the winner. He basically won the game last night for us in the FA Cup 5th round, in a domestic cup competition at a knockout stage. He's done all of that. He's 18. And yet when he plays against, let's say, Leeds at home, and he misses a couple of chances, not because he was in the wrong position, he was in the right position several times, but he happened to miss those chances, suddenly he's bad? He's a bad player? That's nuts. It's this weird, reactionary, I don't know kind of mentality surrounding certain players, or just the modern day age of sort of football reaction that I don't get. And look, obviously, people can come up with their own decisions and their own opinions, but it's just bizarre. Again, back your players. We're in such a good moment. We're in such a good space as a team. And maybe with the takeover stuff, I don't even know anymore. But honestly, back the players, and we're united. Erik says it. We're united. And we need to remain united, especially when it comes to backing young talent like Alejandro Garnacho. He's a special player, honestly. I've said it several times this season. I truly think his ceiling is so high, ridiculously high, with the potential that he has, because of the things he's already started to do. And the thing that really excites me the most about him isn't necessarily his raw talent, his raw potential. It's the people around him. That's what really excites me. It's the fact that you've got this talented youngster, this ball of clay that can be molded into anything, and you've got Erik ten Hag at the club. You've got his backroom staff. You've got Mitchell van der Gaag. You've got Steve McLaren. You've got all of these people there that can mold this player into a real top quality, world-class player. And I think that's just so exciting, and I think he deserves a lot of credit. And Erik ten Hag spoke about it after the game, trying his conversations with Alejandro Garnacho. And we're going to get into some of the manager quotes now. Erik ten Hag said after the game, quote, "It was not easy. After celebrations, you have to get back to business as usual. We found a way to win. Now, in terms of our next opponents in the FA Cup, it's going to be Fulham at home in the quarter-final, another home tie for Manchester United." He said, quote, "Difficult. They are playing really well. We have to play really well to win that game. It is a tough one, but I think it is one we would expect to win. And again, I'm very happy with that draw, certainly, as well." Now, when talking about Alejandro Garnacho, Erik ten Hag said, quote, "Great goal, but you could see he was growing into the game and taking players on. It was difficult to stop him. There was a penalty situation. He had more occasions where he was a threat. Our total setup in the last half hour was difficult to defend. I think the whole front four did a great job." Some more quotes comes out, and this is a fantastic one from Erik ten Hag. He said, quote, "This team hates losing. When it looked like they were going to lose, they stepped up the tempo. They fight and find ways to win. We have seen today an example of it, so I'm happy with that." And that's the key thing, isn't it? This team doesn't like to lose. This team's getting used to not losing. And that's why I said it has echoes of the sort of Sir Alex Ferguson performances, because there were so many teams throughout Sir Alex Ferguson's tenure that would come to Old Trafford, and when they would be driving home or flying home or whatever, they would say to themselves, "We played really well today. I mean, really well. We deserve to get something out of the game. What did you get? Nothing." Roy Keane said it after the game. He said it's been happening for years. Teams come to Old Trafford, they have chances, they don't take them, they lose, they leave, and they lose, and they've lost. And they go, "How did that happen?" And they don't know. That's the key thing. It's about winning. And there was a great clip of Steve McLaren talking to Erik ten Hag after the game. Full-time whistle goes, and all of the staff and the players are coming out of the dugout, and Erik ten Hag shaking everyone's hands, getting everyone high fives. And Steve McLaren points to him and says, "That was you. That's because of you." And he points to his head. He goes, "Winning mentality." And he's right. I mean, everything's about Erik ten Hag. Everything, the buck stops with Erik. And it's this team, we had spoken about this after the Carabao Cup final, hadn't we? That this team, particularly their mentality, is becoming a reflection of the manager. You saw Luke Shaw. Was it Monday? You know, they're back at Carrington, back at training. They go, "Yeah, that was great. Yesterday we won a trophy, but we're already training. We're on to the next one." And you can see it in the team's performances as well. Even if they're not playing well, there is still this belief, this mindset, we'll get a chance, we'll score a goal. We'll make something of this game. And if those players on the pitch aren't good enough, other people will come on that will be good enough. Now, Ten Hag continued talking about Garnacho, saying, quote, "I said to him before the game, you show you can come on as a sub and have an impact. Now you have to show as a starter you can have an impact." I think he showed that today. Well, he certainly growed into the game. I think, again, first half, he struggled to get going. But then again, a lot of people did. But second half, as the game became more stretched and spaces began opening up for him, they couldn't deal with his pace and, again, his directness, certainly. Ten Hag also spoke about Fred, who scored a goal. He's got more goals this year than Chelsea, which is unbelievable. Ten Hag said, quote, "When he arrives in the right moment, he can finish. We've now seen that several times," Fred being Fred. He was also asked about Harry Maguire, Erik ten Hag, saying, quote, "He had a good performance. He took initiative in and out of possession. He was dominating in defence. And in offence, I think he had some really good moments, good passes, engaging, outplaying opponents." We're talking about playing on the right-hand side. He said, "We do it with training to give coaching and instructions, but also not that long ago, I showed him a video of how he can have more impact in possession in building up with his skills because he is really highly skilled." He also spoke about Weghorst, Ten Hag, saying, "I think he understands positioning in and out of possession, and he's doing a good job for the team. Of course, the goals will come. I have that experience with so many players. I refer often to Rashford at the start of the season. He did not score every game, but I know in my experience that it will come once he's more settled down. Of course, he's had a lot of games, but not in a long period. The routines will be there, and after the first goal, more will come." Now, when he talked about Harry Maguire, and then we'll talk about Weghorst and we'll get to our first clip of the day. When he talks about Harry Maguire, look, honestly, I know it's easy. I know it's easy to sort of criticise and say Maguire's rubbish and all that kind of stuff. I cannot change my opinion on that, in the sense that I saw, particularly again in that first half, I thought he looked really uncomfortable, and I thought he looked really, really nervous. Even walking out onto the pitch, you know, when he leads the side out and he was there, he looked nervy. And Antonio, I mean, we've got to talk about David De Gea at some point this morning as well, because, oh my goodness me, it could have been a completely different game were it not for David De Gea. But that opportunity in the first half where Antonio gets played through, he's one-on-one and De Gea makes the save. If you go back and watch it, Maguire's like that far behind Victor Lindelof. It's way too easy. Now, obviously, you could say, well, the centre-backs are exposed. They should get more protection from their central midfielders. But he just looks like he just doesn't fit. Almost to the point where it's not even a criticism on Harry Maguire. I actually feel quite bad for him because he just does not fit with the Erik ten Hag mould or style of play. And to be honest, this style of play, the Erik ten Hag Manchester United style of play, isn't even anywhere really near the Erik ten Hag Ajax style of play just yet. That was, if anything, far more fluid. We're still getting to that point, honestly. But I just don't think Maguire can do it. He doesn't have the speed. He doesn't have the composure on the ball. Every time the ball will go to his feet, he looks uncomfortable. He looks nervous. And he takes 2 or 3 extra touches that he doesn't need to take, and it slows things down. And and again, I don't want to pile in because we won the game or anything like that. And I think there is a general consensus. He's probably not going to be there in the summer, honestly. He'll go because he just doesn't fit. It's square pegs and round holes. And it's really as simple as that, honestly. And again, I always think it's important to respect the boundaries of let's keep about football instead of that guy's this, that, and the other. It's just when you've got centre backs in the squad like Varane, Martinez, and even Luke Shaw that are technically proficient, they're more comfortable on the ball, they can step out, they've got that element of pace that they can play a higher line and then drop back at a moment's notice. When you compare them to that, it's just night and day, isn't it? It's not even close. And again, it's not even necessarily a criticism. It's just a case of he's just not right. He's not right for this team. The quality level of where we're at now, it's just night and day. It's just not close. And I think come the summer, he'll go ultimately. And it does become apparent, for instance, when he's playing last night or when he played against Leeds away. I thought he struggled then as well, honestly. I thought he looked uncomfortable. He was slow in terms of his build-up play, taking too many touches. And I do think that will be addressed come the summer. When he talks about Weghorst, again, I thought that he played really well last night. I thought his layoff play was excellent. He was unlucky not to get a goal. Will that come? I hope so at some point. But to be fair, I've been defending Weghorst for the last couple of weeks. He hasn't played amazingly every single game. I don't think you can fault his work rate and his effort. I think his pressing is good. I think his layoffs are good. I've said before, and people have said, you're wrong. He's a striker. He's going to be judged by his goals. But I don't think he is. I think he's there. Yes, he's there to score goals because when you're up that end of the pitch, the expectation is you're going to contribute. And I do think that will come. But I really think his primary function is to press, is to also hold the ball up, receive the ball, bring people into the game, not just our players, but also their players, attract people and make space for others. And he did that last night. I thought first half he did well. And the unfortunate thing is recently we've been starting so slowly that when the time comes that we have to pick things up in the second half, sometimes Weghorst is sort of the sacrificial lamb to that. And people go, see, we took Weghorst off and we got better. And it's like, well, not necessarily. There were lots of other changes there as well. And again, I think that in an ideal world, would we have Weghorst in the team? Probably not. We would have an Osimhen or you'd have someone else. In an ideal world, we'd have a fit Anthony Martial, but he's not available most of the time. Weghorst is there every single game. He does his job every single game. He puts the effort in every single game. The goals, will they come? I don't know, honestly. But I think that you do have to judge him on a bit of a curve as well. He was an emergency, last-ditch loan signing in January because our striker, which Ten Hag had backed in the summer, can't stay fit for whatever reason. And Weghorst is there every game and putting a shift in. And I think he deserves a lot of credit. He does. I mean, he got an assist in the Carabao Cup final at the weekend for Marcus Rashford too. So he's doing everything that he can and much more, to be honest. I think, to be honest, he's over-delivering what we necessarily thought he was actually going to be able to contribute. We just assumed as a striker it would be goals, but it's actually a little bit different. He's an important role and plays an important role in this team, certainly. Now let's get some reaction first from Flex this morning outside Old Trafford. Here's what he had to say about our FA Cup victory.
We wouldn't lose in the car on the way up. If you would have asked me in a 70-odd minute or so how confident I was then maybe not. But I was adamant we wasn't going to lose. And we dug in. But I got to start with Viva Garnacho. I've got to start with Viva Garnacho. Obviously, I'll break down the game and talk about what happened and the changes that were made, etc., etc. But this kid, he's a kid who has broken into the first team, was held back by Erik ten Hag for issues around, being late, etc., etc. Had a slow start. He's had a quick rise, and I think Ten Hag has got the balance of him absolutely perfect now, of when to play him, when to take him off, when to leave him on, when to start him, when to bring him on as a sub. And the goal that he scored today was absolutely fantastic. And you know what? In the second half, he really came alive. As West Ham started to tire, as we started to be progressive on the front foot, he started to improve. And he's just a young kid. Sometimes he's got criticism and stuff like that. And he had to why? Why? He's continually sitting people down because the kid's good. Like, the kid's good. It's as simple as that. You don't do what he just done if you're not a good player, especially when he's only 18. He's going to have inconsistencies. He's going to have times where he may be frustrating. He's going to have times where he's easy to mark, easy to read, gets pushed off the ball physically. All these things are going to happen with Alejandro Garnacho, but he's also going to have moments like that. And to have moments like that when you're that young, at the theatre of dreams as well, when the comeback is on in Fergie time / Ten Hag time, that takes character, that takes mentality, and that takes ability. You don't do what he's done this season, coming off the bench against Fulham, getting the win, coming off the bench against Leeds and securing the game, coming off the bench against Man City and getting an assist. You don't do those things away at Real Sociedad, getting the first goal when we needed a second, but he got the first one with a through ball from Ronaldo at the time. You don't do these things at this young age and be able to play with these players if you're not a good player. You don't play for Erik Ten Hag if you're not a good player. So massive plaudits to him. I really think he deserved that because he just kept going and going and got his reward.
Big up Flex, as always, outside Old Trafford. We've got nearly 800 people watching this morning. Less than 150 likes. We can go up. We can go higher. Just like Manchester United, the likes can rise considerably, yes. So if you haven't already, be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Remember, you can join the UV Members Club as well. Links in the video description. It's also the pinned comment in the live chat. Love says, one of our members, Owen, when is the next Q&A? I swear it's been 2 weeks now. Well, that is an interesting one, Love, because stay tuned. All I will say is if you are a member, keep an eye on the members community tab and you will get all of that information, but stay tuned certainly as well. I saw a super chat here from PS, says, Weghorst's numbers, 1 goal, 3 assists in 14 games, not bad. Now, I don't know if that's being, if you could clarify whether that's being sarcastic or not, because on the face of it, as a striker, people were like, oh, well, is that good or bad? But again, I think I saw a comment here, and actually, let's get some of your comments up on the screen as always. Love, for instance, says here, and I think this is a really good comment. Weghorst was brought in for peanuts, for his professionalism, mentality, pressing, work rate, and also to be involved in goals at times. I cannot complain one bit. Erik Ten Hag brought him in for those reasons. Double A Sakis says, people seem to forget all the loan players who come in and was always injured. I'm so happy if we keep Weghorst, as we need a squad and not just 11 players. And to be honest, yeah, I think that's what it is. I think... Again, I think people sort of forget when it comes to Wout Weghorst. I mean, he came from Besiktas, technically Burnley. Like, what did you expect? I don't know if I expected this much from him, honestly. And I think he's really put in, quality performances. Sometimes in the game you go, oh, that's a bit of a miss. And is he of a Manchester United level? Honestly, probably not. But if we kept him beyond the end of the season, I think he'd be a really useful squad player. Wout Weghorst's ideal role at Manchester United is on the bench when we have a world-class striker up front. That when we're 1-0 down or it's 0-0 and we need an option B, we need a plan B, you can bring him on. You can bring him on and he can change the game. I mean, that's pretty much exactly what Sabi said when we asked about him all of those months ago. And he said, he'll go to hell for you. He's got one of the best mentalities, which he absolutely does. As a footballer, in terms of quality, I'm not too sold on it, but he can be an option. He can come on and he can change the game from you. And that's exactly what he can do. PS says, no, Owen, I'm not sarcastic. Even for the haters, those numbers are not bad. So there you go. Again, I think that for the money that we didn't have in January, who else could we have got that could have done the job that Wout Weghorst has done? And for those people that'll go, what about João Felix? We could not afford João Felix, and how is that working out for Chelsea? Now, this just goes to prove my point about all those kind of things and all of those kind of players. I still see people to this day, and I don't get this, going, oh, imagine if we got João Felix in January. Imagine what? That is such a bad deal to do. He signed a new contract at Atletico Madrid. The fee that they wanted, the wages they wanted were enormously high. And he's going to go back there in the summer. Like, there is no long-term planning there. granted, with Weghorst, there's no option, there's no mandatory fee or anything like that, but we didn't spend that much money. His wages aren't that high either. And what's he really doing? He scored Chelsea's only goal of February, the one. And as we keep saying, I know it's a crutch when we talk about anything with any player, but if Ten Hag thinks it's the right person, then it's the right person. His track record has been solid so far. That's it when it comes to Weghorst. And even KG has turned his mind around when it comes to Wout Weghorst, and we'll get into that later on. As I mentioned, guys, if we can get to 200 likes, we're less than 40 away. Flex spoke about Garnacho. I know we spoke about him quite at length this morning as well, but just once again, I don't think that really last night's game changed anything for him this weekend. I don't think he starts against Liverpool at Anfield. I think that, it's really important because we're going into this game at Anfield with so much momentum. And honestly, I can't recall the last time I went into a game at Anfield this, I want to say confident, because you never know. Those atmospheres, those games are so big. But with this kind of feeling of we can get a result there. We can absolutely get a result at Anfield this weekend. Not necessarily saying that we will, because again, those games kind of feel a bit sort of one-off-ish. The atmosphere, of course, will be electric at that stadium. And even with Liverpool not in their best form, it's still going to be tough. But I can't recall the last time that I've ever thought an away game at Liverpool, for a long time rather. When was the last time I probably felt like this? I'm not sure, honestly. For a good, what year are we in now? 2023? It's been a while. It's been a while that I've gone into a game at Anfield feeling this, like, we can go there and we can beat them. Of course we can beat them. With our midfield, you kidding me? Their midfield, it's got, decrepit ancient people in there, whether it's Milner, Henderson, Fabinho, whatever. And then we can bring in Casemiro. We can bring in Fred. We can bring in Sabitzer. We've got quality in the middle of the park. We've got absolute raw pace up front. We've got Rashford. We've got Weghorst, who will make it difficult for their centre-backs, who are not playing very well at the moment either. We've got Anthony. We've got Garnacho. We've got Sancho. Hopefully he's back. Of course, he didn't play last night. He was ill. But I'm feeling really good about the weekend. Now, again, that's not to say that I'm overconfident, because I don't think you can be when you play against Liverpool away from home in the Premier League. But I really can't recall the last time that I had this kind of feeling going there. Just Kevin says, I want 3 points, Anfield. Don't we all? Don't we all certainly as well? And to be honest, even if, because I've seen a lot of this as well, even if we do win at the weekend, I'm sure it'll be put down by the media or by Liverpool fans or just rival fans in general. It's not a good Liverpool, or it's not the Liverpool of last season, or the Carabao Cup. Who even cares about winning the Carabao Cup? I'm pretty sure the same Liverpool fans cared about winning the Carabao Cup last season when they had an effing parade for it. Can you believe that? They had an open-top bus parade for an FA Cup and a Carabao Cup, and apparently no one cares about the Carabao Cup, even though there are videos. And this is what's great. This is how you know these people are crazy, because there's videos, there's tweets, there's pictures of them all celebrating the same trophy 12 months ago. Suddenly, 12 months later, when they've gone down in the league, when they're shit, suddenly it's a case of actually, they're not that, it doesn't matter anymore. No one cares about the Carabao Cup. Apparently for Liverpool, no one cares about winning either. Where are they in the league? It's just so, I don't get that mindset either. Like, if, for instance, whoever wins the Carabao Cup next season, hopefully it's us again. But let's say it's Arsenal, let's say it's Liverpool, let's say it's whoever. I'm not going to sit here and go, no one cares about the Carabao Cup anyway, because that would be stupid of me, because I sat here and downed 2 cans of Carabao when we won it. I just that baffles me. Brainworm. It's bizarre. I don't understand that. Maybe it's just weird. It's the Manchester United hate. It flows through people like Palpatine vibes. Ugh. Ridiculous. Anyway, I said that KG had some stuff to say about Wout Weghorst. Of course, he apologised to Wout on Monday during the full view, and now he's really done an about face and says we should sign Wout. Here's what KG had to say.
So happy I apologised to Wout Weghorst on the last, what do you call it, full view. I'm happy I did it because it's there. It's evident. He was the best player in the first half. Some of the sets are just fantastic. The ball falls to him and he just lays it off ever so delicately, ever so nicely. You think, wow, like, wow, how have you got this level of techers? And it's not only the techers that he has, but it's the work rate, it's the desire. Again, if you talk about passion and desire, again, these are Ollie buzzwords. But if you talk about these things, that's all combined in one man. Forget that he's not good in the air. He offers so much. His work rate today helped us win this game today. He was so important. He was a big shout out to him. He deserves it. David De Gea. You see when David De Gea makes the other second one-on-one save, I said, oh, we're gonna win this game. That because it should have been 2-0. We should have been down. David De Gea comes up big in the sticks, and yes, kicking, poor. But then you can see how it can get poor with who's in front of him. He loses confidence. Again, but he just always saves the day. David saves the day. He could be someone he could say, you know what, could have been a man of match performance, but obviously a little mistake here and there. But when it mattered, when it counted, he stood up. Bruno, terrible in the first half. Bruno, very wasteful. Still, Bruno done a lot of Bruno things. I get when Bruno plays like this, I get why people are onto him. I do understand. But then after, it's the other side where when he whips that ball in, helps us get that goal. You know, helps us get us back into the game. Even the other whipping where the Casemiro goal that's ruled offside. So then it's almost like a Jekyll and Hyde performance from Bruno. I was really frustrated. Some of the shots he was taking were ridiculous. It just started to piss me off, really. That Bruno annoyed me a bit today, but I always had to remember Bruno's going to show up at some point in this game. So I have to hold it down. I have to be easy. Garnacho, I need to now remind myself the kid's only 18. And what they say, you're on the pitch, you're old enough, right? If you're good enough, you're old enough. That's one of the lines that they say. And there's been a dip in form, but it should be expected. But the goal he takes, he has a look and he curls it, bends it in. It was almost like a trademark Anthony finish.
Big up KG, as always, holding the fort down there in UVHQ. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. We've got nearly 1,000 people watching. See if we can get to 300 likes. We're less than 100 likes away. Yeah, I mean, KG's shameless. He's got a complete about face when it comes to about Weghorst, and he should. Like I said, he certainly, I think, deserves it as well. David De Gea, I mean, absolutely superb saves last night. I mean, we're going to talk about De Gea, I think, after Marcel's clip, because Marcel and De Gea, they go together like that. The one thing I do want to talk about is the West Ham goal, and I don't want to complain too much about VAR and all that kind of stuff, because Lord knows I do it enough. And you know me, my issue with VAR is a consistency thing. It's not necessarily, it's just bad decisions for Manchester United. It annoys me when I see it for other clubs and I go, that's a terrible VAR decision. What's going on there? The one last night, the ball looks out. Now, if you haven't seen the game or you haven't seen the goal, essentially, West Ham are on the attack. It's over on the sort of the far side of the pitch. The ball looks like it has gone out for a Manchester United throw-in. It looks like that to the naked eye. Now, obviously, we have had a situation in the World Cup with Japan against, was it Germany? Was it Spain? I think it was Spain. Regardless, we've had a situation in the World Cup where the ball clearly looked out, and then later, after the fact, it was proven that it was not out. The ball is a sphere, so there can be technically a part of it that's hanging over. It depends on the angle. It depends on the perspective. So I understand. I do it now that I've calmed down. I understand why that goal was given, because to their thought process and to their mind, there is no definitive proof that that ball was definitely out. Even though for our eyes, it looks like it's out, there is no camera angle to prove, yes, 100% that is definitely out. To me, it looks like it's out, but again, I'm not Hawkeye. So I can understand why it was technically given. And ultimately, look, as a player, fundamental basics of football play to the whistle. Ironically enough, it was an FA Cup match at Old Trafford against West Ham, that famous goal where Paulo Di Canio scores against Manchester United. Barthez is standing there like a lemon with his hands up in the air going, offside, anyone, offside, and then he scores and it's not given offside, and I think they won that game. So I thought, that's pretty poetic, isn't it? So I can understand why technically it's given, even though, again, to me, it looks definitely out. but you have to react. And the thing is, I do sympathise with the players though, because yes, play to the whistle, but it's difficult to play to the whistle nowadays because you don't know what they're going to do. Sometimes with linesmen or linespeople, they just put their flag up, or they just go throw in, or they just stop the game and you stop. Sometimes now they play on because they wait for VAR, but there is no consistency with that. You have no idea what they're going to do with it. Sometimes, particularly with offsides, they'll go straight away offside, and you go, oh, that was very quick. And sometimes they leave it, even though you know it's definitely offside. So I do sympathise with players in that aspect of it. But again, if we'd have lost that match, I'd have been really focusing on that decision. Ultimately, it didn't become a massive thing. So whatever. Refereeing in the Premier League or just in England in general is terrible. Absolutely shocking. I know Howard Webb's trying to pull back the curtain and trying to improve things. My goodness, has he got a job on his hand, because the refereeing, in a word, is shit in England. It's awful. And I know that you have to respect referees, and I understand also it's bleeding over into sort of grassroots football with managers and players abusing referees, and that's totally not on. That's not acceptable. At the same time, there still has to be massive reform when it comes to how VAR is used, the communication, the transparency, this idea that refs can't come out after the game and explain their decisions. Because in the same vein, if a manager does something in a game, they talk to the media after the game. If a player does something after the game, they talk to the media. Referee, you can just ask, well, why did you make that decision? And it's not going to be an answer that people like all the time, because of course there's two teams. It's going to affect one team positively, the other team negatively. That's fine, but at least explain the decisions. Why did you do that? VAR, whilst these checks are going on, for the television audience at least, open the lines of communication. In any other sport, they do that. In the NFL, they do that. In cricket, they do that. In rugby, they do that. You hear them going, okay, I'm just doing this. I'm checking this. No contact here, drawing the lines here. But they won't do that. VAR's been around for a while now, and we still haven't got it right. That to me is insane. And it's this weird thing in football, isn't it? That rule changes will only happen when something goes wrong. Okay, yeah, that's wrong. We've got to change that. Why don't you be proactive? Why don't you say, how can this be improved? Why not wait for incidents to happen and go, we need to change that? Think actually, this could be improved. The communication's rubbish. That's what they need to do. Again, to me, I still find it baffling that they can have multiple looks at things and still get it wrong nowadays. I can understand human error, but human error on multiple occasions, to me, it's insane. Let's get some more reaction, this time from Marcel outside Old Trafford. He spoke to Flex. Here's what he had to say.
I said we're not losing, and we didn't lose, and we come back to win. But to be fair, this is kind of what you was talking about. You said on the way up, this could just be tight, changes or be tired, and we got the win.
Yep. I said I didn't know exactly what it would be, but I have to see today, and it's clear to see that good teams, no matter what it is, they win. They find a way to win. And that's the kind of mode that we're in right now. I have to be happy of the overall project that's happened. The whole context of the 90 minutes today is we won the game. The first half was, I think, very poor, sluggish, and a poor start, and that's what I was scared of.
Yeah.
Just the quickening the tempo of the passing, the impetus, the desire to win the challenges. But you changed the squad, man. How many players has he changed?
Well, that's the interesting thing, because the reason why we weren't good wasn't because he put the same players out there and they looked tired and rubbish. Right. It was the fact that he played the players who haven't been playing.
Yeah.
And he had to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And he kind of asked them today, get Manchester United into the next round of the Cup today. He's been doing that all season, asking questions. He wants more. Good is not good enough.
Yeah.
So today, I can understand why it was a bit sluggish today, but I was scared of it all the same. And Maguire didn't help that in the first half. Sabitzer was good, but, Malacia was he's raw. He's raw, and you can see that. Delo was a bit shaky as well in that first half. Wasn't really brilliant, but, Casemiro changes football matches. Comes in big game Miro and changes the dynamic. Nearly scored himself. And he's just a fantastic footballer, controlled the tempo of the game at times and played good football. I don't even think Ten Hag made mistakes. It was more of a thing of he was asking the players that don't
can
usually
you show
play,
me something? Show me why I should start you. But also I need to give these lot a rest. It's a natural thing that he has to do.
Garnacho, one of them. Yeah. Garnacho, one of them. Prime example of it. And first half, I don't think was emphatic. But, a lot of fans saying he's trying, and I can agree with that. And it was the goal in the second half. Different gravy, similar to Said Benrahma's, but world class finish, really nice, and he, like you said, he won the game for us, you know. And then we go into the next level. Once we scored that first goal, I don't think it was Garnacho. We just
knew. It was an own goal.
Yeah, it was an own goal.
Yeah.
We just knew, Flex, man, and it was just so good to see that we come back in the way that we did, in the fashion that we did. And I think you're right, man. It's the confidence of the team. We just was never going to lose this game. We really wasn't, and I'm happy to see the performance.
Big up Marcel, as always, talking to Flex outside Old Trafford. Now, obviously, got to talk about David De Gea very quickly, because we've still got quite a few clips to get into this morning. David De Gea, to me, last night is the perfect encapsulation of why he's so important for us. He had an award before the game, given to him by Sir Alex Ferguson, 181 clean sheets. Didn't make it 182 last night, unfortunately. But you can make a strong argument. We won that game because of David De Gea last night. The saves he made in the first half, saves from Antonio, saves in the second half. We were lucky that it didn't end up being more than one goal conceded, honestly. And a lot of that is because of David De Gea. And after the game, that might be overlooked. People will talk about Garnacho, people will talk about Ten Hag, people will talk about the substitutions made. But this is my point with David De Gea. You can talk about distribution. His distribution was not the problem last night. There were plenty of other issues, and he bailed us out again and again and again and again and again. And that's what he does. He makes those big saves. He makes those important saves. And that is the key fundamentals of being a goalkeeper. And it's not the first time he's done it this season as well. There have been several games where he's won us the game. West Ham at Old Trafford, it's not even the first time that in this game it's happened. Earlier on this season, we beat West Ham 1-0. At the end of the game, he made some absolutely brilliant saves. One from Declan Rice. I remember Rice absolutely smashed it towards the top corner. He makes the save. And he did it again last night. And again, this is the key thing. You know, maybe David De Gea should have got man of the match because he was just as important. That could have been a totally different game were it not for the Manchester United goalkeeper. And this is what's weird about the criticism with David De Gea, is that when he makes these important saves, people go, well, that's just his job. That's what he's supposed to do. You know, I don't know. Not other goalkeepers are making those saves. He is so important. And I know at this point it's being a dead horse and people won't be told and people won't, they've already made their minds up and that's fine. But you know, it is what it is, I suppose. I believe this is Fleck in the chat. Says, wait till you see UV Raw with a certain Marcel. Wow. That is going to be very interesting, certainly. And, of course, all of those new members, we've got so many recently, you can check out the back catalogue of UV Raws. I spoke to Josh yesterday, and oh my goodness me, there is a huge amount of UV Raws coming up. So now is the perfect time to join the Members Club if you haven't already, because big drops are coming. And, of course, lots of other members' content as well. As I mentioned, we're going to be doing more Q&As. You can see my Ant-Man review. Flex revealed the other day too that I've basically watched no film that's ever been recorded, I guess, in the history of man. So my plan is to at least watch a couple of them and give my thoughts. But it does seem bizarre for me to give like a Godfather review when it's like one of the most iconic films ever. But, you know, it is what it is. Rao with a super chat says, Owen off topic, but did you like the new Mandalorian episode? Haven't watched it. Spoilers. Spoilers. Maybe I could do that. I would love to do that with Josh in the Members Club as well. But I haven't still watched Andor, and he messaged me the other day asking me if I'd watched it, and I said no, and then he just went, well, and that was it. He may have called me a disgrace. He does that. Let's get some more reaction, this time from Kenny. I spoke to Kenny after the game. Here's what Kenny had to say.
I thought Weghorst was tardy all game. He hardly put a foot wrong, that lad. He was in the first half, he was collecting the ball, he was laying it off. He looked fine, he looked good. And I think he'll have got himself an assist for the Fred goal at the end because he chased it into press, and I think he just got his foot and passed it back. So when we get the first goal, obviously from the corner, which was very lucky, we really had some proper momentum then. We had proper momentum. Rashford comes on, and all of a sudden they fall. They just fell to pieces, West Ham. They just fell to pieces, West Ham. The second goal, Garnacho, superb. Absolutely super. The Brilliant. Space that he had was 10 times more space in the second half than what he had in the first half. I'm just assuming that Ten Hag thought that was going to happen because otherwise he could have been substituted for Sancho. He could have easily been substituted after the first half.
Wasn't it? Because, like you said, we knew that. I mean, he definitely had intent. I'm going to put Casemiro on at halftime. That's a quick change. But you noticed the moment we went 1-0 down, he was like, Rashford, you get on. Martinez.
Exactly.
Well, he was so proactive because he thought, I'm not wasting any more time. I've seen enough.
No,
I maybe gave him too much the benefit of the doubt, and
It's
I
saw
brought
enough at half time. It's saw enough
Exactly.
at half time bringing McTominay off because, and I don't care what anybody says, they keep raving about Ras. Ras just reminds me of McTominay. I thought they both laboured. They're not progressive. They're not forward thinking or whatever. They look good putting the odd tackling or whatever. But no, Ras is not a £100 million midfield player. I hope we don't get it.
No,
Sabitzer tonight, I thought Sabitzer was tardy. However, he doesn't have that same interaction as what Fred has. Fred, you get far more from him. You get far more from Fred than Sabitzer. Sabitzer didn't do anything wrong. He just didn't do enough of it. That was my take on it.
And you can just see the drop off, can't you? Like I said, Casemiro, he's the key. Because if you felt like if Sabitzer's playing alongside Casemiro, it might be a bit different. But when he's alongside McTominay, he's got even more to do, doesn't he? It's not even just do simple things, right? It's do everything, and he can't do everything.
You can't do everything. So you start doing worldies and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. You start chasing the game when you shouldn't be chasing the game. I thought Lindelof was unlucky to get taken off because I thought Lindelof was tardy. I thought in the second half, young Malacia was excellent.
Big up Kenny, as always, Uncle Kenny, Erik Ten Hag. I thought Sabitzer, again, I felt he played well in what he had to do last night. I felt he was unfortunate because I felt the midfield was so spread open, and him and McTominay, as a pairing that's never played with each other before, didn't really work. Sabitzer and Casemiro, that's the interesting one, and I think that the more games he plays alongside Casemiro, that would be a really good partnership. And to be honest, I think the partnership's still Casemiro and Fred. Honestly, that's been the one that's been winning us high-profile matches recently, and Sabitzer's going to have to break into that as well. But I think Sabitzer's a fantastic player, and it's a real quality addition for a last minute, last day January loan signing. Brilliant, and I really hope he stays beyond the end of the season. I think he's great. Fat Thor with the super chat says, my boy is 10 tomorrow. Self-declared Casemiro of hockey. Well, there you go. Happy birthday for tomorrow. The self-declared Casemiro of hockey. I'm sure the entire UV community will wish many happy returns. Ray S says, imagine Osimhen in this team. Wow. Well, imagine whoever we add in the summer. You would think if Ten Hag continues on this momentum of him picking the right players, scouting the right players, any addition to this side is going to be fantastic. And, with certain departures as well, because departures still improve your team too. There's a lot to be really optimistic about when it comes to United. I've been saying this for months. When you take a step back and you look at the team, you look at the players, you look at the manager, you look at possibly what's going to be happening when it comes to the ownership, hopefully new owners. There's a lot to be really positive about when it comes to Manchester United. And we're really at the beginning of this journey. And if this is how it starts, oh my goodness me. Imagine when we really hit our peak under this manager. Anything truly is possible. We haven't even talking about Champions League nights or anything like that yet. We're still in the Europa League. And we still got a lot to achieve this season. And sometimes competitions and opportunities open up for you. This season does feel a little bit atypical. You've got big teams like Liverpool, like Chelsea, off it. And because of that, we've sort of been able to sort of push up a little bit, I suppose, not to diminish our own, what we've done this season. But Carabao Cup, we had a great run to the final. FA Cup, there's not a lot of big teams left in it. You've got to go for it. You've got to seize those opportunities when they present themselves. So who knows what we could achieve. Let's get some more reaction, this time from Wild and Reckless. Yes, KG spoke to Haley. Here's what Haley had to say afterwards. This is a good one.
Hey.
What was it that you did?
West. Hey, one more. Hey.
Come on.
I love it. Again, Man United 3, West Ham 1. A game that was crazy. Game of two halves. How do you feel about that game for you?
Who the hell do they think they are?
Who the hell do they think they are?
What are they doing?
I don't know.
You come to Old Trafford to try and embarrass us?
Wild and Reckless.
After-
I told you. It's wild. Let me know what's going on.
After we just won the trophy?
Yeah.
You want to come and build momentum of us? No,
Mad.
don't try that shit.
Yeah.
Get the hell...
Get the hell out of here.
Try it with somebody else.
Yeah.
Don't try kill our vibe to boost yourself.
Yeah.
What's them things where you're trying to energy killers and
Yeah.
stealers?
Sappers.
No.
Yeah, bad energy.
No.
Talk to me though,
dealing
man.
with it.
What was so like? What player do you want to just speak out about? You know.
Maguire.
Okay.
Because he should not be anywhere near that starting 11.
Yeah.
And today should prove that.
Yeah.
Them rotten eggs, like I was saying earlier, yeah. Mm-hmm. When there's a group of rotten apples in the fruit bowl, it's gonna make all the other fruits look bad and go off.
Yeah.
When that one bad or the bunch of them are not in it, the fruits are beautiful, taste delicious.
3-1.
Yeah,
They win it. 3-1.
They're doing good things.
Yeah.
So Ten Hag has learnt today, you can't trust them.
You can't what?
You can't trust them.
No, because you gave a breakdown of like, what was it when you're talking about the parents?
So basically, we've learnt that these good players that we have can't get a rest. Because it's like a mum that's in the bath and says to the partner, I beg you mind the kids, I need to be in the bath and just relax. Right. And then you got the picnic them knocking on the door, mummy. That's what happened today. Our players couldn't rest because the shit players knocking on the door. Please come and save us, please. You're just shit. You're just shit.
You know when they're in there with the bath oils and the thing, and you have to block the candles. The candle, you gotta go to the candles. You're mad. Yeah.
Vex, you're fuming. You're in the bath. All the water's coming out now because you're vexed. You're vexed. Freaking hell, I can't even get no time off.
You can't get no time off.
Can't even rest.
You can't
and relax and put up your feet.
Not even
because the shitty players are shitting.
Don't kill me.
I can't get when they started blowing out the candles. Immediately, I thought,
red flag.
Been spending too much time. Spend too much time talking to Flex and KG. If you don't know, then you don't know. You've got to check out this week's Flex and KG show. It's tremendous. There's a lot of red flag going on. We've got nearly 1,200 people watching. We've got less than 300 likes, folks. We can get to 500. Yeah, we can get to 500. Of course we can. Let's get to 500 likes this morning as we get to the quarterfinals of the FA Cup as well. Oh, it's not soundboard settings. No, that was from my phone. I did see someone say earlier, though, that maybe I should get a soundboard. I feel like that's KG's thing, though. And my soundboard would be very different. Very, very, very different to KG's. But that might be fun. There might be a lot of WWE references in there. That could be fun. Maybe I've got to look into that one. I'll have a look today, certainly. But yes, if you haven't already, be sure to smash the like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Should we get some more reaction as well? Let's get some more reaction from DJ. Yes, KG spoke to DJ after the game in UVHQ. Here's what DJ had to say.
DJ, talk to me about that game. Seriously, let's go.
Listen, I just want to say this. Yeah. West Ham, you lot are actually crap. We actually made you look better than you actually are.
Absolutely.
I can't believe today we struggled. And as we were saying through the show, man can't even take annual leave.
Can't.
None of our players, our first 11, can take annual leave.
No annual leave, no holidays.
None of them can take no holidays, no days off, because the guys that come in, they're not good enough. We've seen that today.
Yeah.
They had their chance today. They had their chance.
Again though, because I want to start with, let's start with the negatives and we'll move into the positives. Yeah. What were some of the negatives today though, man?
Maguire.
Yeah.
McTominay.
Yeah.
Who else was on there? Garnacho for the first half.
Yeah,
definitely.
Absolutely.
Wait a minute. There's still plenty more of that clip to play. But let me just... DJ's got the AirPods in. He had them in the whole game last night. Was he on call halfway the whole night? What's going on there? Is he listening to music? Is he even listening to what KG's saying to him? I just clocked that for a second. Wait a minute. He's got his AirPods in. Was he on a Zoom call as it's going on? What's going on there? He's getting those answers fed in through said AirPod. I'll play it again. I was like, what? Play it again.
DJ, talk to me about that game. Seriously, let's go.
Listen, I just want to say this. Yeah. West Ham, you lot are actually crap. We actually made you look better than you actually are.
Absolutely.
I can't believe today we struggled. And as we were saying through the show, man can't even take annual leave.
Can't.
None of our players, our first 11, can take annual leave.
No annual leave, no holidays.
None of them can take no holidays, no days off, because the guys that come in, they're not good enough. We've seen that today.
Yeah.
They had their chance today. They had their chance.
Again though, because I want to start with, let's start with the negatives and we'll move into the positives. Yeah. What were some of the negatives today though, man?
Maguire.
Yeah.
McTominay.
Yeah.
Who else was on there? Garnacho for the first half,
Yeah,
definitely.
absolutely.
He was poor, yeah. But that spine, Lindelof was shaky a little bit as well. But that and Dalot
Even
as
Bruno
well.
as well.
Bruno was a bit off the pace as well today. A lot of bad performances.
in the
across
first half,
board.
'cause-
yeah, definitely in the first half. But again, I'll keep saying it. I'll keep looking down at everyone at home right now and say, if you don't beat United in the first half, yeah, it's curtains for you.
You're in trouble.
Because second half settings, second half smoke is in full effect. Once Ten Hag gets a hold of them, man. Yeah, once he gets a hold of them, man.
Hold of them, man.
Hold of them,
But
man.
then, can we keep doing this though?
No,
At the
we
same
can't.
time, can we keep allowing teams to show us something in the first half? Man United have to be dangerous. We can't keep getting away with stuff like that.
Yeah, no, you're right. And we need to actually be dangerous all through the match. Every single minute of the match, we need to be dangerous. We need to start faster. But again, you're seeing that with the first team. With this second string guys that are filling in, it just seems that a lot of them aren't good enough, KG. And you know what I mean? And I'm glad, you know what, in one way, it is a blessing because it's exposed a lot of people today. Exposed a lot of players today. Some are internationals, the Maguires of this world, and it's not just the Maguire show. McTominay's one of them as well. They've come in today. They've expected to, carry on this winning mentality that we've built up in the last few months, and they failed today. Today. Ten Hag had to get man that was trying to rest today on annual leave. They put in their annual leave, and then they're getting told while they're on the beach, you got to come back to work, bro.
Straight back into work.
There, great analysis from DJ Alvis. I was thinking that as I was watching it, I was like, oh, as the AirPods are in. Wow, there you go. Special like on the light bulb for DJ as well. You know what, as well, I was actively searching for an appropriate sound to go with that. I was thinking of putting Stone Cold Steve Austin's What? in there. You know, like when, that is one of my biggest bugbears, is when you're wearing like your AirPods or your headphones, whatever, and people can see that you're wearing them. People can see that they're in your ears. So you must be listening to something, or you must be talking to someone, and someone keeps trying to talk to you, and you have to go like, and you have to do the full old, like, take one out and go, sorry? Yeah. And then put it back in. And they keep talking. You go, nah, come on. Maybe that's what DJ wanted. He just didn't want people to talk to him. I don't know. But when it comes to the FA Cup, look, I mentioned things are opening up in the competition. Who the likes are that are out of this now? Liverpool out. Chelsea out. Arsenal out. I mean, really, who's the biggest team? Spurs out as well, I think, after last night. The biggest team really left in it, you'd probably say, is Man City, right? I think so. So if that is the case, again, things opening up. I know that, I think I saw something last night say that if we were to get to the final of every competition, which I don't know if we do this season, it would be like our second busiest season ever. When opportunities present themselves to you, you have to go for it. And I think that's the case for Manchester United at the moment. As long as you keep winning games and we keep this momentum going, somehow, somewhere, we found a way to keep winning games and ultimately win a trophy during this time. I remember, cast your mind back. You can go and check them out on the channel, but cast your mind back to November or December, particularly November, just before the World Cup started, and all of this noise that was, how are we going to cope? We're just the squad's going to break down. The squad's going to break down. We're going to lose these games. We're not going to beat Barcelona. We're definitely not going to beat Barcelona. And then what we're going to do? Carabao Cup. It's all going to collapse. Well, as of right now, it ain't. It has not collapsed. We continue to find a way to win all of these games. Now, granted, the wheels could come off at any point, but you do have this feeling like that's just not going to happen because of the manager, because of the people we have in the team, and because of the guy that we have controlling this team, steering this team. He won't allow for that. His standards are too high. It's not even, lesser managers would have gone, okay, look, we're not going to really prioritise the FA Cup. We've got to focus Carabao Cup. We won that trophy. Let's focus on Premier League and Europa League. FA Cup, it don't really matter. No, he's like, no, winning mentality. Steve McLaren said it to Erik ten Hag after the game last night. This is because of you. This team is a reflection of you. Winning mentality. They don't like losing. And that's what we've got to get back to. For so long, we'd become soft as a club. We'd become soft, even maybe as fans to an extent, of we tolerated losing. These players, well, we tried, but we lost. No. Those videos used to be out there. They're still there. Of Sir Alex Ferguson going, the benchmark for Manchester United is winning the league. And maybe we're a little bit off that at the moment, but the benchmark has seemingly, or is moving back to winning trophies, winning football matches. I remember as a kid, my goodness me, Sir Alex Ferguson 1 year in the Premier League, he finished third. You would have thought the sky was falling in. Third, Manchester United, the standards, that's what it is. Standards being raised. That's the important thing. So, man, it's exciting times for Manchester United. And again, we go into Sunday against Liverpool at Anfield, and anything feels possible. Again, difficult game, tough game. I know Liverpool aren't in the best moment, but it's Anfield, it's away from home, but this Man United team feels nobody. Nobody. And I feel like we should be the same, certainly. So there you go. Be sure to smash a like on the like button, guys. Still 1,100 people watching. See if we can get to 500 likes as we're on our way out. What's on tap for the remainder of the week? Well, quite a lot. As I mentioned, we've got that match this coming Sunday at Anfield. So we've got all of the preview, all of the discussion, all of the debate as we head into that big Premier League match at Anfield. We've got fan views, we've got match views, we've got all of the above. We've got press conference reactions. So be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Click the notification bell. You'll be notified every time we go live or a new video is uploaded here on the channel. There is all of the reaction from last night. You've seen some of the clips this morning. All of the fan views are up on the channel. Also as well, a match day vlog. I'd recommend checking that out too. So plenty of content at your disposal here at United View. Have a great Thursday morning and I'll speak to you again very soon. Peace.